Okay, one spot that I love that I need you to check out is Walkerville Brewery.
My name's Mike Brkovich. I'm born in Windsor. I went to Michigan State University on a basketball scholarship and ended up coming back to Windsor 10 years after I graduated and pursued, I own a number of businesses, but my principal business where I probably focus a lot of my time is real estate. I own office and apartment buildings and some warehousing space, and I also own the Walkerville Brewery. I bought the brewery in 2011, September of 11, and opened it in September of 2012. Walkerville Brewery was reincarnated in 1996 by a local entrepreneur named Karen Plunkett. And her and a group of investors reinvented the brewery, opened it up in a building that I owned. I was the landlord of the Walkerville Brewery until 2007, from about 1996 to 2007. And in that economic downturn, it went bankrupt. And then I ended up buying the assets from a receiver and purchased it and reopened it, kind of rebranded it, and obviously our success has been tremendous, and I'm fortunate to have been part of the story. Yeah, I mean, we pride ourselves obviously with producing world-class beer, award-winning beer, but our first really priority is being a community brewery, a community hub, not just for Walkerville, but Windsor and Essex County. But being an entrepreneur can be discouraging. So if there's one thing I'd like to say, find something you love to do, that you're passionate pursuing, it'll be much easier. But along the road, there's going to be some bumps and some hurdles. Don't get discouraged. Well, we'll start right up here. This is our bar/tap house area, where all of our beers are on tap right here. We usually have 12 beers and usually 2 ciders on tap at any one time. And obviously at the entrance, I could take you to our museum. We have a great pictures on our timeline. Kind of gives you the history of the Walkerville Brewery. When it was started in 1885 by Hiram Walker. Along with what's behind us are these cabinets that we purchased from a local Walkerville jewelry store. Wow. So the cabinets are 100 years old, and then we've acquired over the last 10 years from people in the community. And one particular, he was a real beer aficionado. His name was Bill Marentat. He worked here at the brewery in 1938 or 9. So we acquired a lot of these beers right here. Some of these bottles are over 100 years old. Incredible. Some of these trays are over 100 years old. So that's all part of our history. We've got a lot of original labels. We have that. We have all of our, obviously, our awards over here. Kind of all the awards we've won provincially and nationally. There's a lot of gold medal winners in there. And our brewing team, along with Ian Gorley, my partner, work very hard at creating great products, great beer. They take a lot of pride in what they're doing. And a lot of these artifacts were donated to us by people in the community whose either parents or grandparents worked in the original brewery, because it was a big employer at the turn of the century.
That looks like the throne, is that?
Well, why don't you sit down in there, Rox? There you go. Everyone takes a lot of pictures here. It's a great focal point.
You guys gotta come here and sit on the throne too.
Yes. So this is our production area. Well, we produce about 5,000 hectoliters a year. So I always equate everything. One of those tanks is about 700 cases of beer. Okay. So that's kind of how I equate stuff. To give you a visual side of it so you know how much. So but cool. Yeah, so this is our fermenters, where the beer, obviously, depending on the type of beer, it could be in that fermenter from 2 to 6 weeks. This is our canning line right here. You see our cans right there? That's our canning machine, as well as you could see, our cans up here, empty cans up there. Yeah. And we have a lot of beer that are in these barrels, once used bourbon barrels that we acquire from Hiram Walkers, fill them with our specialty beers, and they sit here for about a year. And we call them our barrel aged series. So they're really strong, robust, high alcohol beers. This is our test brewery where we make a lot of specialty beers, which they produce maybe 6 to 8 kegs for, let's say if we wanted to test beer or wanted to see how the consumer would like it, we would make it here and put it on tap, see how the consumers would like the beer. And then around the corner, you know, we've got our cans and our brew house right here. And in this building is 100 years old, over 100 years old. It was originally designed and built for Hiram Walkers. The building was 3 times as high as this, but was taken down in 1969. So we have all of those pictures up on the wall, and we share that with the public, how this building looked 100 years ago. I think people don't appreciate a lot of the things that those pioneers at the turn of the century did, whether they were in Detroit, like Henry Ford or the Kresge family, or people like Hiram Walker did for the community, because they've really affected what we have now. When I bought the brewery in 2011, none of this was here. So all of this was built. Very few tanks were here. This wall was built. I mean, even this wall has a historical component to it. The doors were donated to me from a local high school teacher. Those doors are to Patterson Collegiate, which was in downtown Windsor, and it closed and was demolished in the 1970s. So we made that wall and kept the doors. So we've got that. A lot of the bricks we used are from Hiram Walker's buildings.
So many tie-ins.
Oh yeah, the barrels are Hiram Walker barrels. I mean, we've got a lot of community support. People come in here. We've been part of the Walkerville community. It's kind of the epicenter of Walkerville. And we could not do it, or I couldn't do it, or Ian Gorley and myself couldn't do it unless we had this great team behind us.